All right, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Entrepreneur's Grill here on Boston.com. This one recorded live from the FutureM conference at the Heinz Convention Center. That's your cue to applaud wildly there in the audience. Great. So this is a chance to hear a fresh new business idea presented by a Boston area entrepreneur and watch as they get grilled and hopefully get some constructive criticism from a local investor. For this episode, we have Todd Dagres of Spark Capital in Boston. Thanks for being here, Todd.
Thank you.
And Anna Palmer, the co-founder of the Fashion Project, which is now participating in the Techstars Boston program. Thanks for being here, Anna.
Thanks so much for having me.
So this is you were one of the first startups that I think I'd ever heard of where the co-founders met at Harvard Law School, not Harvard Business School, Harvard Law School. Is there much of an entrepreneurial scene there, or were you guys kind of the outcasts thinking about starting a company while you should have been studying about torts or something?
There actually are a few of us. We're just a little bit under the radar. We all ended up on companies that are headquartered by South Street, ironically. So there's about 3 of us that are working out of there. But it's building, so hopefully over the next few years you'll see a lot more of us.
That's cool. And Todd, I guess I'd love to just get your kind of quick overview of like the types of deals, the types of companies that Spark tends to invest in.
We like to get involved early. We'll invest small amounts of money, 50 grand all the way up to, we did one $40 million investment, so we've got a big enough fund that we can do big. But we also like to get in early. We like to be the first money in if possible, and we take a very active role. And our focus tends to be around web-based businesses that are using the web as distribution and are typically going into large industries and disrupting them.
And is the big investment you mentioned, the $40 million investment, is that in Wayfair? Is that the biggest investment?
No, Wayfair is
Spark
not
has
there
made?
yet. Twitter is the biggest investment.
That you guys have made.
Yeah.
Wayfair was a pretty big round, right, when you funded them last year?
Yeah, it was a big check for us. We put in $25 million in the first round there, but it was a $500+ million a year company, so it was a later stage deal. And we don't do a lot of those, but once in a while, if it fits, we'll do it. We have a very high bar for doing later stage deals, which means it might be a later stage deal. We still have to make a venture return.
All right. Well, Anna, I'd love to hear your pitch for the Fashion Project. It's a really, it's an idea that I've been tracking for a while, but I haven't followed every evolution. So take your 2 minutes.
Sure. So Fashion Project is changing the way that people donate designer goods to charity. So I'm going to venture to guess that when all of you walked into your closets this morning, you probably didn't see $100 bills hanging off the clothes hangers. If you did, I'd really like to switch you closets, so come talk to me afterwards. But you should, because every year in America, there's about $13 billion worth of clothing, shoes, and accessories that are donated to charity from closets just like yours. But there's a problem with that, which is everything is donated the same way. So that means that you go into your closet, you take your old gym shoes, you take your really nice suit from Neiman Marcus, you maybe take your nice handbag, throw it all in a trash bag, you drag it to the local thrift store. Once it's there, about 80% of that stuff will be sold before those bags are ever even opened, so they'll be sold for about 37 cents per pound. If it does make it onto the thrift store floor, your jacket from Neiman Marcus might be selling for $20 at best, when in reality that could sell for $200. So that's where we come in, because every year that gap of what charities are making off of those items and what they could be making ends up meaning that there's about $4 billion worth of value that's just evaporating into thin air. So at Fashion Project, we have a really easy solution, which is we help people go online, donate their designer items right from their doorstep to the charity of their choice. We then have an online marketplace where we merchandise those the same way that you'd see at like a NeimanMarcus.com. They're really beautiful. We resell those items. 60% of the proceeds go back to your charity, 40% come back to us, and it means that the return for your charity is about 9 times higher through the Fashion Project solution. So we have a lot of great partners. We have 32 nonprofits right now. Their charity lists reach about 19 million people, which we're really excited about. Working with people like It Gets Better Project, Christopher Reeve Foundation, Big Brothers Big Sisters, and our team is fantastic. So we have people from Etsy, Refinery 29, Harvard Law, Amazon, so we have the operational and e-commerce background as well. So we have $50,000 worth of inventory that's going for sale on November 14th, which is Boston Techstars Demo Day. Go online, fashionproject.com, sign up. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. This purse will be there, which is a brand new Marc Jacobs purse that we just got donated last week. One of my favorite items actually from the collection. So
So it's
shop
brand new,
online.
someone bought it and just decided it didn't meet their standards?
Yeah, we actually get stuff like that all the time. So I'd say probably maybe 10% of the stuff that we get is new with tags. So we actually had a brand new Valentino purse worth about $2,000 that was donated through Big Brothers Big Sisters and Fashion Project about 2 weekends ago. So yeah, brand new, tag
So
still
you're
on.
really disappointing all those people who show up at Goodwill hoping to find that stuff and,
I know,
win the
it's so
lottery.
true. But now they can buy it on Fashion Project, and they know what they're getting is authentic. It's still a really great deal. They're getting it for a fraction of what they would be otherwise. So.
All right, so let's have some grilling here, Todd. What are the first things that come to mind for you?
Can I ask a Republican question? Is there
Yes.
any kind of tax advantage to me if I donated my Scott has a $1,000 Brioni suit. So if he donated that suit, would he get credit for that?
There is.
Taxes?
Yeah, so my co-founder and I, coming from Harvard Law, we're really excited about the tax code, which is something I think you never hear anyone say ever. So there's a huge tax advantage. So if you were to donate that to Goodwill, as you know, they give you that blank receipt.
Yeah.
If you were to look at their tables, their average suit price is probably maybe about $40 is your maximum deduction. Through Fashion Project, we're actually recreating a marketplace. So we're changing what that fair market value is, and you can take that full deduction of whatever we sell it for, because you're actually donating it to your charity. We're working
you're
as a
determining the
contractor.
fair market value? Is there some entity that does that?
So you get, yeah, so it's,
So it's a $1,000 suit.
Yeah.
I've worn it once. It's perfect. I give it to you. You sell it for $300, let's say.
right.
What happens to
Yeah,
me?
so you would get a receipt from whatever charity you donated for that says, hey, thanks so much for your donation, you just donated $300 or whatever that is. So we work as a contractor with your
I
charity.
see. So I get a credit for $300 donation?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I was thinking maybe if you donated suits, Todd, that they would sell for more than their actual value, be a Todd Dagres worn.
We'll actually feature you in the store. There'll be like a hero call out.
There's
that
no other
people
human
can
that wears the same size as I wear, believe me. I'm like a hodgepodge of limbs and stuff. So I'm not off the rack.
It should be really important to note on that tax question that the way we work is we contract with your charity. So when you're donating to March of Dimes or whoever that is, and we're just working
I see,
almost
and you
similar
take
like
40%.
non-generic. Yeah,
Yeah. And you're not a nonprofit.
no, we're for profit.
Ah,
And
of course.
so online questioner asks, you assume that people who have valuable items in their closets won't just sell them on eBay. So how do you compete against that or,
Yeah.
potentially Craigslist?
Yeah, so we found that the type of person that donates and the type of person that sells are two entirely different people. So our sweet spot is really the people who have really busy lives. They're not really concerned about getting that monetary value back. And so the number of people that donate are actually higher than the number of people that go through services like eBay or consignment stores. It's another big avenue.
Okay, so they don't want to sit there and take 7 pictures of that handbag.
Right,
and
exactly. I mean,
spend all
they're-
night posting it on eBay.
Yeah, they're busy
Yeah.
with their families or their careers.
We've probably seen 3, maybe 4 companies, most of them out of New York recently, that basically it's kind of sell your closet.
Yep.
So you basically, what they'll do is they'll actually come to your house, they'll take the stuff out of your closet, they will take pictures of it, and they will sell it. And this is all high-end designer stuff, and they will sell it for you. But that's a way for me to make money off of stuff that I'm not going to wear anymore.
Yep.
Right? I wonder how hard it would be for them to have another part of their business where it's a charity-oriented thing.
So it's actually fairly difficult. I mean, first of all, you're dealing with a lot of the tax code issues and the charity contracts, and the way that you're reporting those donors back to the charities are pretty complicated. So my co-founder and I, we both started nonprofits, so we kind of understood what that world was. So it's not just a plug-and-play solution. You really have to be careful about how you're reporting those donor records, what information you're giving back to the charity, really producing a value add.
So operationally, so I have a closet full of stuff. Do you come to my closet, or do I send you stuff in a UPS box?
So you send us your stuff through a prepaid Fashion Project bag. So when you register online, you get a donation packet, and we put as many bags as we think you need into that packet, and then you just fill those up, send them back. It's all prepaid for you.
I see. And then you might put them on models. You'll take the pictures, you'll put them online, just as if it was a new good from Saks or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I see, okay.
It's a question all the way in the back in our live studio audience here. Yes.
Thank you. I was, same questions that Todd was just asking about operations.
Yeah.
So how you manage inventory and how you do photography and merchandising and understand what works and doesn't work online?
Yeah. So this business is an interesting one in that I think when you think like, oh, e-commerce donation, it seems deceptively simple on the outside, but the operational back end is really complicated because everything we're dealing with are one-off unique items. So our team's actually built a lot of really unique systems to deal with that. So we have an automatic pricing engine that's really unique, allows us to price something in seconds. Our operational back end, as far as how we sort items, we pre-sort, which cuts down the operations time. So there's a lot of kind of interesting tricks that we're using to cut down that processing time. I'm not going to go into them here, but I'm happy to talk to you afterwards.
So what does it cost you to take a unit of clothing and post it and make it available for sale?
$5.80.
Okay.
That's a specific number. Are there other,
Yeah, that is.
other
that is
questions
exactly
here?
the
Other
number.
questions from our webcast viewers? Yes, in the back.
So you intend the customers to be the charities lists, or do you intend this to be a broader marketplace?
Yeah. So right now our customers have been about half and half. So we found that people really like coming back and buying things to support their charity, because usually charities are asking people just to give money, and this is a way of giving a significant amount, but you're still also getting something for yourself as well. So it's a little different ask, but I think over time it'll probably be more general population. But one of the things that's cool is when you go on to buy something, regardless of whether you're just a buyer that ends up there or whether you were called by your charity to go there, you actually know the story behind the item, so you know as you're buying it, like this pair of shoes is going to feed 47 families, and I can feel great about that purchase because I know that that's going to be a reality after you buy that.
Any last questions either from our audience here? Yes, in the middle.
Just a quick question. If your goal is to make the most money for yourself and for the charity, instead of putting it on your site with a backstory, wouldn't it make more sense fiscally to put it on eBay, to put it onto sites like that where it would get out to a global audience that you don't have to have your background and do all the advertising of your own site? eBay's already done that for you. As a power seller myself, I sell globally, so it makes it a lot easier where you have that site doing all that work, and I'll make double or triple what I would locally.
Right. So our site will be hopefully global, so people can go there and shop. But one of the reasons that we really are looking at building our own e-commerce marketplace is that for the things we're selling, as you know, on eBay, if you're trying to sell designer handbags, Prada jackets, the regulations around how you authenticate those are really stringent. And we work really hard to make sure our merchandise is authentic. But when you're just breaking into that marketplace on eBay, it's hard to build up that seller rating. So for us, and also on a side note, you can't put the story behind the item as well, which is something that's really important to our company.
And you can't send a bag to eBay.
Right, yeah, that's true. So we'd be doing all the same work and just listing it and not having those customers in our own marketplace.
But you'd be making more money, so all you have to do is just package it all separately.
I actually will dispute the making more money thing. When we first did our initial test, we looked at the things that we're selling on eBay versus what we were selling them for, and we realized that we could actually sell them for more because of the way that we merchandise them.
And no, without paying any fees to eBay, right? No
Right,
listing
exactly. So
fees
eBay
or
takes about,
percentages.
yeah, it can get really expensive.
Is there an option to split it with the charity? So I keep half and the charity gets half?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how this looks like as we're evolving the business. I think right now we're a little bit early to figure out exactly what that margin should be, but.
I mean, the donor would keep half, so it would be kind of a, good for everybody.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
It's a win-win-win-win.
Anna, let me just ask you one more question from online, which is about ease of use. Is this something that charities have to learn anything new, and kind of how do they react to participating with Fashion Project, or do they just have to say, all right, we'll send an email to all of our members, to all of our past donors, and that's all they have to do?
Yeah, so it's really easy. We work with two different types of charities. One is the type of charity that doesn't have any sort of store right now. They're not collecting donations.
I like the double bottom line element of this, but, we take money from our limited partners who are nonprofits, and then we give them back more than they gave us. It's their job to do good with it, not our job to do good with it, but I can't help but like the double bottom line aspect of this. I think that can be a good marketing routine. I look at it as great PR and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think it's interesting.
Cool. And Anna, is there inventory in the site now that people can go and shop? And you mentioned kind of in November you're dropping a lot more inventory.
Yeah, so the inventory isn't visible yet, but you can register for our pre-sale. So our pre-sale is going to be happening probably November 4th. So if you register online, you'll get emails of things that you can buy before they're pushed out to the general public. So I'd encourage all of you to do that.
Great. Well, Anna, Todd, thanks a lot for being part of this episode of the Entrepreneur's Grill. Thank you.